So now in this lesson, we're focusing on the 30, 60, 90 triangle, which is our other special right triangle. Now, keep in mind that now this is not like our 45, right? Because this is not an isosceles triangle. So our shortest leg here, which is opposite from the 30, right? So your smallest leg here. So your smallest leg here is opposite of the smallest angle. All right, that's your attribute of your triangle here. So this shortest side, the hypotenuse, is always double that. So here, if this side, let's say, is 2, then the hypotenuse is going to be 2 times 2, which is 4. Then that means now here, the side opposite of the 60, so the longer of the two legs, is S radical 3. So then this would be 2 radical 3. So that is our pattern. The shortest leg is always half of the hypotenuse and then multiply by radical 3 here. So like here, for example, 1A. Notice how the hypotenuse is 22, which is always double the shortest leg. So see how this leg is opposite from the 30? This is your shortest leg here. This is your S. This is your long leg. So that means if the hypotenuse is 22, then that means my short leg is 11. It is half of my hypotenuse. And then if my short leg is 11, then that means the long leg, right, opposite from the 60 is 11 radical 3. So now here, notice we have the hypotenuse, but it's given as a radical, but still the same process, right? We'll start with the short side. So again, here's your short leg, right? So opposite. Now that is 18 radical 3, but divided by 2. So now can we simplify? Yes, because this is 9. Oh, not radical 2, sorry, or over 2, yeah. So 9 radical 3. So here the short side is 9 radical 3. Then remember the pattern is opposite from the 60, we take the short side, which is 9 radical 3, and multiply it by radical 3. So notice it looks a whole lot like when we were rationalizing, right? Because it's radical 3 times radical 3, which is radical 9. Well, what's the square root of 9? 3. So this is 9 times 3, which is 27. So our short side x is 9 radical 3, and our long leg here, opposite from 60, y, is equal to 27. So again, notice the pattern. We're taking the hypotenuse and divide that by 2 to get the short leg. The long is multiplying that short leg by radical 3. Go ahead and pause the video and try the U-try on your own here. And here we go. So again, start with the short leg. So which is that, U or V? V, right? Because this is short leg here, opposite from our 30-degree. So here we've got that this hypotenuse, so I'm running out of space. So this is our hypotenuse, 9 radical 2, divided by 2. Can we divide 9 by 2 and simplify? No. So you just leave it. This short leg here is 9 radical 2 over 2. Just leave it as a fraction, which means now the longer leg here. You take that short leg, right? So our U, we take the short leg, 9 radical 2 over 2, and multiply it by radical 3. Now again, focus on like terms, right? We're going to only multiply radical 2 times radical 3, which is 9, but times radical 6 over 2. Now here's the key. Can we simplify this? No. The common mistake is people want to divide the 6 by 2, but that's not 6. That's radical 6. So this is just 9 radical 6 over 2. That is the length of U. So now let's go on to our next example here. Now here we've got opposite from our 60 is 7 radical 3. So if you recall, our short side, our short leg here, opposite from our smallest angle from 30, we always took the value and multiplied by radical 3. So what is the short leg? Just 7. So x is equal to 7, which means now the hypotenuse was always multiply that by 2. So 7 times 2 is 14. So our short leg is 7, our hypotenuse is 14. So now here again, notice the 15 is opposite of our here, 60, right? That's your long leg. But remember, this is supposed to be in the form of radical 3. So again, same as when we had with our 45, 45, we're going to need to solve for x to get our short leg here. So we're going to divide by radical 3. Now notice this is just good old 15 over radical 3. We can't leave it. So rationalize the denominator here, our fraction. So now you've got 15 radical 3 over radical 3 times radical 3, right? Just cancels out and you're left with 3 because that's radical 9. Then can we simplify? Yes. This is 15 over 3, which is 5. So our short leg is 5 radical 3. Now, whenever we're solving for x, we are always, no matter what, getting the short leg here. So we're getting the short leg. Now, because let's say this was y and x, we're still solving for the short leg when we solve this process here. We're going from the short along to the short. So now that our short leg is 5 radical 3, now we take the hypotenuse, right, and multiply the short leg by 2. So 5 radical 3 times 2, which now 5 times 2 is 10. So 10 radical 3. So the short leg is 5 radical 3, and the long leg is 10 radical 3. So again, going back to, if we need to, rationalizing that fraction here. So go ahead and pause the video now and try the U-try on your own. And here we go. So again, you should have noticed that this is the longer of the two legs, right? And opposite from our 60. So this should be in the form of x radical 3, but it's not, right? It's just the whole number 8. So here to solve for the short leg. So we're solving again, right? For the short leg here. So this is 8 is equal to x radical 3. Now we go through and solve, divide by radical 3. Now we're going to rationalize, right? So we've got radical 3 over radical 3, which is 8 radical 3 over 3, because again, canceling out. Can you simplify 8 over 3? No. So the short side here is just good old 8 radical 3 over 3, which means now the hypotenuse is our short leg, 8 radical 3 over 3, but double that times 2. Or if you think about it, right, 2 over 1. So this is just good old 8 times 2, which is 16 radical 3 over 3. Now, can we simplify and divide? No. So this is the hypotenuse. So this is our short leg and our hypotenuse. So now our last example, and you try here. Again, we have now, notice the short leg. So the short leg is given to us. This is 5, which means that the longer leg is 5 times radical 3. Then the hypotenuse is, we always take our short leg, right, and multiply by 2. So y is equal to 10. So again, here, we're opposite from our 30, which is 5 radical 2. So again, we would take that to get our long leg, right, opposite from our 60, and multiply by radical 3. So this is 5 radical 2 times radical 3. Multiply the radicals. Now we've got 5 radical 6. Now can we simplify? No. Leave it 5 radical 6. We always then would take our short leg, right, for the hypotenuse and multiply it by 2. So this is 5 radical 2 times 2, which 5 times 2 is 10. So 10 radical 2 here. So that is the hypotenuse. So go ahead and pause the video now and try the U-try on your own. And here we go. So again, our short leg, we take to get y, our long leg here, right? And multiply by radical 3. So to get y here, we're going to take 3 radical 5, right? Let me just erase that for now. And multiply by radical 3. Then focusing on the radicals, this is 3 radical 15. Now, can we simplify this? No. So y, the long leg, is 3 radical 15 here. Then to get the hypotenuse, right? We always take our short leg, 3 radical 5, and double it, multiply by 2. So now you should have noticed that's just 3 times 2, which is 6 radical 5. So our hypotenuse, x, is 6 radical 5.